Lloyd, Coach, couple thoughts, and then we'll get to some questions.
I felt like we did this yesterday. Actually, it's obviously you guys know, we're excited to be here, and I thought we had a good day yesterday, good day of prep, and we're going to have another good day of prep today, and honestly, can't wait for tomorrow night.
Coach, let's start up front on the left side. Third row, right there.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today. Coach, I was able to talk to some players from the 2001 team. They all mentioned that you have a very open door policy about bringing in players that play for the program, coaches that have been on it. I'm curious to know, why do you feel like it was so important to bring those guys in and to speak to this team and be able to be around so that your team could see who has laid the path for this program?
Well, I think one of the special things when you play at a program like Arizona, it's something that stays with you for the rest of your life. And what I think about is, we have all these great former players and student managers, that gave a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to the program, and it's part of their identity. And I think about those guys at home, watching games with their kids on their lap, and it means something. I don't know in the pro game. I've never been there, so I'm maybe just a little bit of stretch. I don't know if you get that same connection. Like when that you basically played for Arizona in your time, your eligibility ran out. It's still part of you today. So for me, it's really important that we include those guys in everything, and they feel like owners of our program, because they are owners. They're 100% owners, and and they're great dudes. And it's been one of the coolest things, for me to experience is developing relationships with them and having them tell me their stories, because their stories, are Arizona basketball stories, and for me to be a small part of it now, it means a lot to learn about the past of the program and what it's done.
Staying up front on the left, Matt.
Yeah, Matt Norlander, CBS Sports. Kind of on that note, Tommy, and sorry to put you on the spot again, but we're one day out from this national semifinals. You've been asked about the North Carolina job frequently. There's even been talk that Michael Jordan has personally reached out to you. What are you telling your team, and where do you stand with everything, 24 hours out from the game?
Yeah, well, I guess, Matt, you're known for putting me on the spot. I'm happy to announce I'm staying at Arizona. We've been able to get some things done the past couple days. I really appreciate, President Garamella, John Arnold, and Desiree, for showing a real commitment to our program. And, Arizona basketball, you guys know what it means to me. And when I say it's a special place, that always comes from the bottom of my heart. I didn't want to make this entire Final Four about that, because I'm just a small part of something much bigger. But on that same note, I'd also like to, let you know that North Carolina is an amazing place. I mean, it's a one of one. And, it's an honor to even be, considered for that job. And, the young kid, for me, the college basketball junkie, watching those games at home, never would have thought something like that could have happened to somebody like me. So North Carolina is a first-class organization, and I appreciate them for the way they've handled this. Michael Jordan, the phone call never did happen, so I'll put that to rest. But come on. We all idolized, MJ, and I don't how many hours I watched that "Come Fly with Me" video, and my kid grew up watching, his the movie he made, and it's amazing that that opportunity was even thought could be possible. With that being said, though, I made a decision that my Michael Jordan is Steve Kerr, and I'm proud to be an Arizona Wildcat.
Congrats, Coach.
Thank you.
Second row center. Let's go to the second row first, Robbie.
Robbie Listella, Bracketeer.org. I don't mean to shift gears, but I wanted to ask about Yax Lendeborg.
Please do shift gears. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about Yax Lendeborg and how you guys have kind of gone about preparing for his versatility, and what do you feel like Dusty May's offense has brought out of his game this year?
He's obviously an elite talent. You put the skill with those physical tools, and looks like to me he's got that alpha dog in him. Dusty's done an incredible job just, putting him in positions to utilize all his skills. And, there's probably not one way to guard him. You probably got to, you try a little bit of everything and then hope you get a little bit lucky and some of those shots just don't go in. But yeah, he's been an incredible talent, and I'm sure that guy that's going to be a household name in basketball for a long time.
The movie you referenced was Space Jam, by the way.
Yeah, Space Jam. There you go. Thank you.
Front row.
Justin Spears, Tucson.com. Coach, good to see you. I put out a tweet yesterday asking Arizona fans, who is your favorite player out of all these guys? An overwhelming amount of people said Toby Awaka. Put yourself in an Arizona fan's perspective and also coaching over the last couple of years. Why do you think so many people really love Toby?
I mean, I think people just respect the effort he plays with and the physicality he plays with. I think it really stands out, and I think people can kind of identify. They see that blue collar approach he has to the game, and I think that's something we all respect. And I've sung Toby's praises 1,000 times, and I'd do it 1,000 times again. I mean, he's an amazing individual, high character, about all the right things, and I'm just really thankful, that we got the opportunity to coach him, and thankful that his talent and perseverance and work ethic really propelled us to be able to get to a Final Four.
On the right side, left of the aisle, Bruce.
Hi, Tommy. Bruce Pascal, Daily Star in Arizona. Not to put you back too much on that, but you've been saying, this whole thing was a distraction for us, basically. But for you, behind the scenes, you said some things were going on. How was that process? How did you deal with it when you're getting ready for this?
I mean, honestly, I've been full focus on our deal, and there are obviously people behind the scenes that were helping me and working with the administration, and this wasn't like meant to be like a leverage deal. I appreciate our administration, and I think we've made huge progress on what the vision for Arizona basketball can be, and I appreciate them getting behind it and kind of rallying behind it, and investing in it, and it's not about me. It's about everyone in that identifies with that Block A. And to me, that's the driving force. And I've always told you, for me, is to be able to deliver for them and kind of be an entity that our community can rally around and feel good about. And I love being in the middle of that. So I'm thankful.
2 questions, third row on the right.
Brian Peterson, AZ Desert Swarm. There's been a lot of talk about the similarities between your team and Michigan and how you match up and all that. When you have an opponent that is so similar, how difficult is it to find something that can maybe make you stand out when you know the other team does it just as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I think you just got to get on the court and kind of figure it out. I think both teams are going to, probably adept at what they do. And we're going to get out, and I think both of us are going to try to play to our strengths and see how it feels. To me, that's the biggest thing. And, we obviously got a lot of respect for Michigan. They've had an incredible season, and they're incredibly well built. And we know there's going to be a ton of challenges tomorrow, and we're going to kind of have some moments where we have to figure some things out.
That same row.
Jason Shear, Wildcat Authority. Jaden Bradley just said one of the reasons he wanted to make a Final Four besides him in the program is you. He wanted to help you make a Final Four. What does that mean for you to hear that and just your relationship with your point guard?
It means a lot. When you have that reciprocal relationship, with people or your players, where you want good things for them and they want good things for you, that's really powerful. I mean, that really is one thing we talk about a lot in our program, is vision, but we also talk about purpose, why you do things, what motivates you. And when your purpose is other people and doing good for that allow other people to be successful, that's crazy powerful. That's way more powerful than trying to do something for yourself. So I appreciate JB saying that, and trust me, he's got great things coming to him. He's done great things for us, and I can't wait to watch him play tomorrow.
Left side of the aisle, but on the right side of the room.
Yeah, Tommy Lloyd, Steve Rivera, allsportstucson.com. When you were going through what you're going through in November and December and just rolling, Michigan was doing kind of the same, beating people up pretty bad. Did you have a chance to see them then and now realize they're probably better than what you saw back then?
You catch them on TV a few times. I hadn't did a deep dive into them or anything like we have now. But, I just remember, obviously, You know, they beat up on Gonzaga pretty good, and when somebody that doesn't happen very often, and when they do that, I mean, obviously that got my attention, you know. But again, you know, these seasons you're running your own race with your own team, and you just don't have time to sit there and really dissect other teams that you're not playing. But obviously they've had an incredible season from the start to the finish. It's been really impressive to watch.
All the way to the right side.
Hey, Tommy. I know he's not playing, but what have you seen out of Bryce James throughout his redshirt season?
Yeah, but Bryce has gotten so much better. I mean, just watching him practice yesterday, I was just kind of sitting back like, wow, like the progress he's made. He probably didn't even realize how much better he's gotten in the last, 6, 7, 8 months. His body's changed. You know, a lot of his fundamentals and techniques have really sharpened up, and once our season wraps up and everyone gets a little bit of a break, I'm excited to get back in the gym with him, because I think there's another big jump in him that he's built a really good foundation for himself to propel himself off of. So I can't wait to see what it looks like.
We'll go back to Bruce on the right side.
Tommy, sorry to ask you again, follow up, but what are you talking about, like rev share percentages, administrative support with NIL promotion? What does it? What did it here?
Well, what did it is it's where I wanted to be, and they wanted me to stay. That's the driving force behind everything. I mean, Bruce. Rather than getting into specifics, to me, it's just a holistic approach. Like, there's not one thing anymore. Arizona basketball, needs to become a locomotive, and where everything surrounding it is pushing it forward. And to me, and that's not because of me. That's because of what was built before I came here. And it's my opportunity right now to kind of be the captain of the ship. But just getting everything, putting everything we have behind our program, and that starts. The number one thing that starts with is just energy and effort. That's it's not easy. It's not easy when you are trying to build a program or run an athletic department. I fully understand that. So just getting that alignment, and I think we've are taking big steps towards doing that.
Up front on the right side.
Hey, Coach. Chris Brown, AZ Bandcat Sports. Can you just talk a little bit about what it means for guys like Justin Kokoski and Brian Brigger, who have been with this program for a long time but have never seen a Final Four before? What it means, how special that is.
Yeah, no, I'm thankful for pointing those guys out. I tell people, I got a tough job, but it's really tough when you got a celebrity trainer, a celebrity equipment manager, and a celebrity strength coach. And those guys have been around, and before I got there, and when I got there, rather than clean house, I wanted to find people that had been there and knew Arizona better than I did, that were around the program, that knew the stories, because I didn't want to come in and just scrub Arizona basketball and make it about me, because it's not. And I felt my best way to serve the program was learn about it, and those guys have been great teachers for me. I'm happy for all three of them, especially J-Rock, because J-Rock's been around since the early 2000s. We were beginning to think he was the curse, and so to overcome that and to find out that he's not the curse is a really good thing.
We'll move to the left side, third row, Dana.
Dana O'Neill, CNN Sports. Tommy, I'm over here. Hi.
Okay.
A lot of young assistant coaches sometimes are kind of in a hurry to climb. You sat still at Gonzaga. How much better of a head coach are you for taking your time?
Wow, I think it was a massive difference for me. It allowed me to fully invest where I was at without worrying about what was in it for me. And so just to be able to, obviously, you're learning under a Hall of Famer, okay, and we didn't know it at the time. And I didn't know I would ever be the head coach in a Final Four. So there was something really genuine about how we were approaching it, where he becomes like your big brother, and so I was really comfortable, and I think that just that comfort I had allowed me to really deepen my learning and kind of learn myself and learn my identity and just have comfort in my own skin, because I wasn't out trying to prove anything to anybody. I was just trying to do a good job. And so yeah, it was amazing. That 22 years, honestly, guys, I would be probably just as happy if I was still there, because I wouldn't know any different. Somebody told me something really smart once. They said, in this business of basketball, whether you're a player or you're a coach, you're making investments every day. You're investing every day, every day, every day, every day. But you have to approach it like you can only make one withdrawal. Because the moment you make your withdrawal, you lose the compound effect. And so that really resonated with me. You know what I mean? You take your time, take your time, take your time. Because if you withdraw too early, well, we all know, your money's not going to double. And, if you look at it that way. So that when somebody explained to me that is what I did, it really resonated with me and made a lot of sense. And so, yeah, so I'm so thankful for those 22 years. I mean, they were awesome. And, I'm thankful because I think I've learned a lot this first 5 years, and I'm going to work to be a better coach every single day, because I am comfortable now. I am at the right place, so I have that good feeling, and I know that's my sweet spot for me personally.
Coach, we'll go all the way up and all the way left.
Keena Lynch, Big 12 Conference. Good to see you, Coach. Big 12 regular season champions, Big 12 tournament champions in Kansas City. Can you talk about those games and how it prepared you for this weekend here in?
Yeah, I mean it was incredible. I was talking last night with Tad Boyle, and and I thanked him. We played them the last game of the season after we had wrapped up the Big 12 regular season championship. That game was really important for us, and you wouldn't have known it at the time because everyone's like, "Well, you've already won the conference. What are you going to do? You don't want to get anybody injured," and you're thinking about all those things. And I thought going into the game I was going to play more guys and kind of reduce, the minutes for some of our main guys. Just trying to outthink myself. And once we got in the game, my instinct was no, because we weren't playing good. We were down. We were flat, and I was like, no. Absolutely not. These dudes are going to figure it out. And I trusted they would figure it out, and we're going to win this game. We're playing to win. I'm not going to lose this game and let our players have an excuse that, well, coach really didn't want to win. He just, because he played everybody or we played different. So for me, that mindset was really important. Then that continued into the Big 12 tournament. Okay, you're probably going to be a 1 seed. You've had a great season. I'm like, no, we're going to go in there to frickin' win that tournament game by game because you don't get a dress rehearsal for the NCAA tournament. So I really wanted to treat the Big 12 tournament as our dress rehearsal. And, if we showed up, we didn't play good, we were flat, we lost, I thought it would be something that we could learn from. If we won, I thought we could continue to galvanize and it could build confidence for our team. So it was awesome. That little stretch really, really helped our team.
Toward the back, right of the aisle.
Hi, Coach. I was just talking to Braden Burries and Koa Pete, and they mentioned that you have told them multiple times to live in the moment and be where their feet are. What's the value of that advice for freshmen playing on such a large stage?
I just think for them, you got to find a way to connect and create meaning for them, and that's why I keep telling them. And you guys have heard me say it multiple times over the last couple of weeks. Let's just treat this like a state tournament. These guys all won state championships. Why do we have to put the word national in front of it and treat it different just because there's a different word in front of it? So let's treat it like a state tournament. You're in the semis in the state tournament. We all remember that back in the day, and unfortunately, my team got knocked out before then, so I didn't get that feeling as a player. But these guys all know what it feels like, and I want them to understand they've been here before, and it just may be different circumstances.
We'll take our next question in the back part of the room on the right as we also welcome Ivan Karchenkov to the dais.
Nice.
Go ahead with your question.
Coach Lena Washington, back right, 12 News Phoenix here. From Koa to TJ on your staff and the history of Mike Bibby, Richard Jefferson, what can you say about the basketball culture in Phoenix and the level of talent that's in the Valley, even with Section 7 being out there? It's become a destination to develop the next big player.
You're exactly right, and Phoenix has a good basketball tradition. When I was a young assistant, it wasn't like Phoenix was just like had all these players. It was probably a little bit dry. The few good ones would go to Arizona. Now there's so many more good players coming out of the state of Arizona, and the city of Phoenix has grown. A number of prep schools have popped up in that area. So yeah, it has become a destination for high-level basketball players, and obviously, we're welcoming that, and we want to be in the middle of it.
We've now reached the portion of this news conference where we're going to turn things over to the full court press reporters. The full court press reporters are wearing the credentials with the black lanyards. If you have a question for Yvonne or head coach Tommy Lloyd, raise your hand. Let's go to the center.
Yvonne, this will be for you first, and then Coach Lloyd, I'll have a follow-up for you.
Your name and media outlet first.
Sorry, thank you. Kira Halfman, St. Mary's College. Yvonne, in what ways have you seen Coach Lloyd invest in you?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, just time and the details he puts into to his work. We had a lot of meetings this year. I would say like roughly once a month. Just talking about a couple games, talking about some clips. Things we can I can improve. And just talking a little bit about basketball. And then he would like give me a plan. These 3 things, I want you to improve in for the next couple games. And, I would then, put more emphasis on that and hopefully, make him proud.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean, Yvonne's been great. Obviously he had a lot of basketball experience coming, but, my message to him was like, this might go a little different than you expect. There's a transition, even though he played at a high level in Europe, to NCAA basketball and playing in the States, and so I just wanted him to respect that and understand it, and he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he's really improved over the course of the year, and I also appreciate that he played well early and stayed in his lane and was patient, and because when you come over here and you're as accomplished as he is, you could sometimes want a little too much too fast, and it kind of backfires. So he's had a great approach, and he's been playing his best basketball the past few weeks, and that's really helping our team.
Continuing with full court press questions, we'll take one right up front.
Jenny Bartlett from Franklin College. So I've asked this question a few times today. With coming to the Final Four, emotions are always so high, and they're up and down, energies are high. What would you say that your emotions are right now going into the Final Four, and how do you think that is going to affect you on the court?
You want to check Yvonne's emotions first? We'll do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is great, but how Coach mentioned already, we want to take this as a regular road trip. Go on a Big 12 road trip, taking as a game at a time. We came there earlier than usual, and then on the usual road trip, but it's only because so we can have a normal practice on the floor, just in the stadium, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, emotions are great, but I don't want to let them lose too early because the game is on Saturday.
Coach.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, my emotions are fine. You know what I mean? I always tell our guys that the better job we can do making things feel normal, I think the better chance we have of playing good. So, we're not a program that is maybe overly excited. We're focused, and these guys, I'm hopeful will be ready to play tomorrow, and because we know it's going to be a really tough game.
To the center.
Hi, I'm Jenna Plank from Butler University, and this is for Coach Lloyd. I know you kind of touched on this a bit, but how big of an influence was being an assistant at Gonzaga? How did that translate into your head coaching career at Arizona?
It was amazing. It's Gonzaga, by the way, not Gonzaga. And it was amazing. And, just when I think back to the relationships I still have, like, the first night, we got in, Coach Few and his whole family, and Dan Munson, all those, former Zay guys just came up to my room, and we just hung out for a couple hours. It's family. So, I mean, for me, it's it's a big part of who I am, and it was a great place to be a part of and to learn, what it takes to be a good coach. And I'll always be thankful, for my experience there.
To Mr. Urban in the back, I had to restart the Zoom. Just wanted to let you know. We're going to go to the left side with Will.
Will Hicks, Butler University. Tommy, this one's for you. What do you love about Arizona compared to any other program, university? What separates that from other programs?
Man, Arizona it's a special place for the right people. you know, I look at our fan base and just I kind of laugh sometimes. I'm like, you know, I mean, when I close my eyes, I think of an Arizona fan. There's lots of them, so don't just pigeonhole this into one. But I see this guy about my age that hasn't shaved in a few days. He's got a flat bill hat on, and he's wearing a jersey. I'm like, what 50-year-old dudes wear jerseys? You know who does? Arizona basketball fans do. And I love those guys, and I connect with those people. I mean, I honestly love the community of Tucson. I'm not a big city guy. You know, I'm more of a country boy, and just love hanging out with my family and friends, and don't want to deal with traffic. And I think, you know, Tucson gets an interesting rap. You know, it's the little brother or whatever to Phoenix, and Phoenix is great. You know, it's cool hanging out in Scottsdale, but people that live to choose in Tucson are living to choose there because they're a little bit different. And they love the things Tucson's about, and all those things resonated with me and connected with me, and so yeah, we love it there. I mean, literally, my parents have a house there. My wife's parents moved there. My wife's sister moved there. You know, all our kids are there. We have grandkids now. I mean, the roots are getting pretty deep, and you know what? You can grow roots in the desert. Trust me.
Up front on the left.
Jacob Leslie from University of Nebraska Omaha, and this is a question for both you guys, but following that 2-game skid in mid-February against Kansas and Texas Tech, you guys have brought off 13 straight wins, 8 of them coming against ranked teams. What did that 2-game skid teach you guys about yourselves, and how are you guys able to use that going forward?
Aggressive use of the word skid twice in that question. Let's go to Yvonne.
I like it. I like it.
I felt like it gave us a little bit of a relief. We didn't have to, you know, guard anything. You know, we didn't have to, you know, protect anything. You know, not anything like a streak or anything. And also, you know, showed us, you know, if we don't show up, you know, 100% and give it our all, we're gonna lose some games. And it was good, you know, just like a little reality check, and you know, to recalibrate a little bit into the season, to get to the day ones, to the fundamentals, and yeah, go out there and you know, knowing the feeling of losing, that it sucks, and just, you know, playing with the edge from that point on.
Coach.
I think Yvonne crushed it. You know, I remember we lost at Kansas that day. You know, I just told the guys there's no shame. That place was electric that day. It was a big Monday. We were number one in the country. I mean, it was electric. But I told our guys after the game, like, no, we're fine. The season just started. You know, that was our approach. Like, the season just started. You know, like, it was great. We had a 20-some game winning streak in the preseason. Now the season's for real. Let's go. And you know, then we came home and, you know, went through a few injuries, and, you know, and a good Texas Tech team beat us. And then we really had to kind of dig in and kind of figure out how we were going to do it, because we had to kind of adjust how we were playing, and it was a lot of moving parts, and these guys did an incredible job. The staff did a great job hanging with it, and then it was about just executing it day by day, play by play.
Any further full court press coverage? We do have one right in the center.
Yeah, hi, Cooper Van Driesch with the University of Notre Dame. This question's for both of you, but you specifically, Coach, you were here in 21 as an assistant. Can you just talk about your experience with Indianapolis as a host city and how they really embrace hosting an event like the Final Four?
Well, 21, as you remember, was COVID, and we were in a bubble. So I think we literally ended up staying like 3.5 weeks at the Marriott on the 3rd floor. Yeah, so obviously this experience is very different. But Indianapolis, I mean, come on, we know what basketball means in the state of Indiana. It's an amazing host city for the Final Four. Just the proximity of everything on feet is really cool. And, you know, I'm assuming the city's really filling up, you know, and I'm assuming we're going to see that tonight and through the day tomorrow. But, yeah, it's been amazing, and, you know, we're thankful that the NCAA and the city of Indianapolis work in great partnership to put on an amazing event.
Yvonne, what do you think of Indy so far?
Pretty cool city, even though I didn't see a lot of it. It reminds me of the weather of Germany a little bit, so a couple similarities there. But I love everything, you know, that has, you know, the connection to basketball, and I don't know where we went through yesterday with the big hall and all the basketball fest things.
Fan Fest.
The Fan Fest. And I love that, I love that to see. And I wish, Germany and in Europe, a couple more things like that would happen.
We have time for one more quick question, catching up from earlier.
Hey, Lindsay Schnell from The Athletic. Tommy, so much has been made about, this long drought in the West. No one from the West has won in 29 years. Do you think the players actually, know that or understand that, have that perspective, or no, because they're too young?
No, they have no idea. I mean, Yvonne, I think, half serious and half joking, when we had won the Elite Eight game, I think we were walking, I don't know if we were doing media or whatever, and he looked at me and he said, is this really hard to do? And I'm like, wow, yeah, thanks. And I said, yeah, 27 years of my life, and this is the third time for me. So yeah, it is hard to do. And for these guys to come in here, and there's a beauty in that, though. And they're just coming in here, and their expectations is we're going to get in a game and we're going to try to win. And they don't make it much more complicated than that. So, but the long-term deal in the West, yeah, it's a long drought. It's a long drought for the Big Ten, and as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out.
Yvonne just makes it look easy. And we want to congratulate Yvonne and congratulate Coach Lloyd. And thank you guys for joining us here in the main interview room. Arizona